Let me welcome Sivaram Garu to continue the session on SCA, an IoT platform, open source platform.
Thank you, sir. Okay, good afternoon. What I'm going to present today is it's basically it's a demo kind of session. Okay, I'm going to introduce you a middleware platform called CA. Okay, it's pretty simple. It is something like a demo. So I hope you understood. Okay, right. So first I will introduce you to the platform. Then I will show you some demo projects. Before that, we will see how to install that, how to deploy it in your own cloud. Okay, and we have a setup in our lab in the upstairs, and we have been working with this the last couple of months. So we have some exposure. I want to share that exposure to you. Okay, I think it is very good for you also, especially for those people who are looking for IoT research. It's going to be a nice tool to start on. Like you can create smart products by using it in your premises with basic requirements. Okay, so let me start with this outline. So the first couple of minutes I'm going to talk about the platform of IoT, I mean IoT platform. Then in the later part we'll see translation and Sandbox. Sandbox is the place where we deploy our projects and we work with them. Okay, I will show you that. Then we'll see some projects. Actually, we have planned to. We have planned to show some projects. Live projects by using Particle Kit, but due to the delay, we are unable to do that. But perhaps I will use our Android mobile as an endpoint to show you some projects. Okay, these are all pre-configured projects. You can play with them. Okay. Finally, I will show you two videos. So people are talking about smart cities and the other smart kind of things, smart intelligence systems, smart trafficking systems. Okay. So how you can build these type of smart systems by using CA. So for that, a little bit motivation you will get from these videos. Okay. So let me start and go to the presentation. Is it audible? Okay. Right. So let me start with a great saying called a statement something like this: vision. So what is vision? See, the previous session we have seen the link between mythology and the technology. I don't know. These slides were prepared 3 days back. The previous talk and this talk, it has got some relevance. Okay. Vision is something. It is not of seeing invisible. Okay, so I am trying to see. I am going to give a statement given by a German pioneer in computer science called Carl. Okay, see, just go through the statement. So it was given in the year 1966. Is it clear? So what kind of forecasting it is? Is it clear? It has revolutionized the electronics industry, especially embedded systems industry. Is it clear? Because of this only we are talking IoT now. People to start working on electronics, and I will show you that. See, earlier we have mainframe computers, now we will be having something like this. See, because of the advancement in the technology, miniaturization of the products, So this is also computer. Can you imagine that this can be even reduced to a dust particle of size, that is what we call small dust. Is it clear? I hope you understood. Okay? So what I'm going to tell you in this particular thing is, actually we need these devices. These are the actual players in the IoT. Is it clear? So suppose if you want to make this device, make this thing connect to the internet, we need to give something to it. Is it clear? So it itself directly cannot connect to the internet. Is it clear? We need to provide something. Is it clear? So that is what I'm going to discuss in the, this is the, is the person who has given this. Why I'm stressing on this is, it is going to trigger $1 trillion market in the near future. Is it clear? There is one forecasting that there will be 50 billion devices by 2020, and it is going to create a new world order at the same time it is going to create, it is going to boost the world economy. Imagine the impact of IoT. Okay, right? So let me see what is IoT now. So I will come back to this slide later. See, I just simplified this. We already got some exposure with what is IoT and all in the previous sessions. So IoT is, it's all about, I can say, sensing, communication and competition. Is it clear? It's not a new technology. It is an amalgamation of the technologies. Is it clear? So perhaps we can say it is an extension to internet, wireless sensor network technology, something like that. Okay? So what I'm interested here is, say, I'm saying that sensing, communication, competition. So these three things are very important. Is it clear? If you want to make a device like, if you want to connect something like this bench to internet, so that I can monitor whether it is, something is placed on top of it or not, whether it is empty or not. How to make this as an IoT enabled device. It is clear. Okay, it's pretty simple. So if you are able to provide some sensors which will sense the physical phenomena. Okay, right? So say I can put a camera here so that it can capture the table. So by looking at that, the picture, we can say whether it is empty or something is there on top of it. Is it clear? So that is what we call sensing. Like you can take one more general case, like if you take a temperature sensor. So what it does essentially, it will sense the temperature around it. Around that locality, and I need to some computer thing, something like this. See, so what I mean to say here is, see, all these things can be incorporated into this tiny device. Sensing, communication, and computation. As I told you, it's not general purpose computer, it's a special purpose computer. Is it clear? It is microcontroller, not microprocessor. Okay. See, you have pins like this, input output pins, data pins, and I'm not going to describe this. Okay. So if you have, if you know a little bit electronics, you can understand. See, there is a chip. So this is the processor here. Okay. So it has inbuilt memory, and you can connect sensors to it. At the same time, I can add communication aspects to this by just adding another tiny chip called ESP2866. ESP2866. This is nothing but your Wi-Fi module. But device, say, you can see that there is a Wi-Fi modem is there now. It's a tiny version of what Wi-Fi modem. This model is ESP2866. Okay, so this device it can only perform computation. Is it clear? So if I want to add all these things into one device, what I have to do? I have to connect some sensors to it, and I have to add this so that the collected information can be, it can be transferred to some other location, so say something like a sync, a data collection node. Is it clear? I hope you understood. Okay. So it is all about, see, if you take any IoT use case, basically it consists of, basically it involves these three. You can take any IoT use case, whether it is related to healthcare or agriculture or biomedical equipment applications or like your smartphones, anything. It basically involves these three things: connect, collect, and manage. Clear? As I told you in the previous, in the previous slide, there will be 50 billion devices. So some people are saying that is also a small, big number. You will be having more than 50,000 billion devices. Is it clear? Then all these aspects, they are challenging. At the same time, they are giving $1 billion opportunities for the researchers as well as for the business people. Clear? How to connect all your devices, all the 50 billion devices to the internet, how to expand, how to get the scalability, and how to collect the data. Clear? So the crucial point here is, so why we are collecting why we are connecting the devices? So we want to get something out of it. Is it clear? So we are connecting the devices just for the sake of information. So I want to know something from this table. I want to know something from this bouquet. Is it clear? So I want to know how many flowers are there from a remote location. Is it clear? So I want some information. I want to collect data. So data is the essential thing here. It is not all about, see, I have given a statement here. It is not all about small sensors, it is all about smartifying the data. How effectively you can collect the data and how efficiently you can process the data. So that is very, very important. Clear? See, one estimation is that, so I read a paper, white paper by the Cisco people. They said that there will be, per day, these devices by 2020 they will produce 50 zettabytes of data. Zettabytes, not gigabytes, per day. Assume how big it is. Okay? So today, so huge amounts of data is very, very tough. Is it clear? So we need sophisticated tools. Okay? So I'm going to discuss one such tool here. Okay? See. So let me come to my topic. So this is called car. What is car? Okay? So I don't know why they have given this name. Okay? Right? car is a production-ready multi-purpose middleware platform for building complete end-to-end IoT solutions and connected device applications, and you can rapidly develop any smart product, IoT related smart products. Okay? Right? We'll see the features later. Okay? So this is very interesting. So where it lies, where it fit into the IoT ecosystem. I'm talking about middleware. Middleware, it is something like, it is something like a software which will assist you to do all these things in an efficient manner. Is it clear? IoT middleware is nothing but which allows you, the endpoints, they can get connected to other endpoints through the middleware. Is it clear? And at the same time, one point can manage the other point. That is what we call control and command, CC. things are connected to the internet, say if there is a permission, one thing can control the other thing, or one thing can continuously monitor the other thing, and one thing can activate the other thing. Is it clear? So if you take any smart home application, like I want to control my AC device right from here to my mobile. Is it clear? So how it is possible? These two things must be connected to the internet. There should be some communication. Is it clear? So that is where the car comes into the picture. Or any other middleware platform. Okay? So why I am interested in car is it is something like your Apache Tomcat. Is it clear? So I think you all know about Apache Tomcat. What is that? What is that? It's a web server. Web server that can be deployed on your local premises. Is it clear? By in your system. And you can check whether your website, you can host your website. Okay? Right? Is it audible? Can you check? Okay, right? So what is interesting thing here is it is 100% open source. It's something like, see, Apache Tomcat is also it's an open source web server. Is it clear? So you can just directly download it from the website and you can deploy anywhere. So this is more about. Right? See, car middleware, it lives between the two worlds. It lives between the two worlds. The world of applications and the world of devices, endpoints and connectors. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. Right? See, this middleware, this open source IoT middleware, it lives between these two worlds, the world of applications and the world of hardware, or you can call them as the endpoints, or the things you want to connect. Is it clear? In the previous case, I told you that example. Say, suppose I want to control my TV, or I want to control my AC from my Android mobile. Is it clear? So there should be some application which is running on my mobile, which will control my end device. My end device that is nothing but is it? AC unit or something like this. See, so this allows you to connect, collect and manage. Clear? So with car, you can connect device to the internet and you can collect information from the devices and you can effectively manage them. Clear? So I will show you, there are 6 features of the car. So I will show you each and every feature and its conceptual diagram, then we will move into the demo. Okay? Right? See, if you take any general cloud-based IoT platforms, the architecture is it is something like this. So this diagram, it shows the conceptual architecture of a cloud-based IoT platform. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to replace this cloud-based architecture with Ka. Is it clear? So when I say cloud, so you automatically, so generally one thing comes into our mind, that is, so that will be posted somewhere, we have to pay for that. Is it clear? But as I told you, this is an open source, Ka is an open source. You can directly download it from the internet and you can deploy right at your host or on your premises or anywhere where there is a need. Okay, so we'll see that aspect later. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, see, these are all endpoints. Endpoints are nothing but your devices or the things. When you say in the context of Internet of Things, anything. Okay, this child, the table, anything. Okay, so whenever they are connected to the internet, generally they are connected to the cloud. From that, say, the intention of connection is to get the data. See here. So these endpoints will produce data, and that internet, it goes to the cloud. From cloud, it can be distributed to various applications. Clear? So suppose in the previous case I want to control my TV from TV through my say mobile. So in that particular case, I want to know the data. I want to get the data from my TV, whether it is on or off. Is it clear? Is it clear? So this cloud, what it will do is, it effectively manages whom to send, when to send, something like that. Is it clear? Or in other words, I can send this data, the collected data, to a monitoring system to control something. So if you take that wireless sensor networks, it is all about sense the physical phenomena or environment or something like that. So based on the data, we will actuate something. Is it clear? So why we are sensing, based on the data we will analyze, and based on that information we will actuate something. Is it clear? So that kind of things you can do. Is it clear? RS, and this is a very practical application, this one. So this is what we call live stream analytics. Live stream analytics. Is it clear? So suppose I can put a sensor here so that it can measure the temperature of this room, and I will create a web dashboard or a Twitter account or a Facebook account. This particular sensor which embed with a computation device and communication device, it connected to that particular website, and it will post the real-time data. Is it clear? So that you can see the variations or the fluctuations in the measurements. Is it clear? So it is very, very important, stream analysis or something like that. Okay? So there are so many, analytic machines like data machines like Spark, Storm. So you can easily integrate these Spark, Storm like machines with data analytics systems with Ka. Okay, we'll see that. I'll show you one. Okay. Okay. So why Ka? I have given a brief introduction about Ka. Ka is a middleware IoT platform through which you can connect, manage and collect the data efficiently, and it's 100% open source. There are other IoT middleware platforms. So as you can see in the slide, there are plenty. Clear? I have collected some of the official logos of the respective companies, and I put them in the slide. There are plenty of them are available. Some of them are commercial, proprietary kind of things, like IBM Bluemix is there. Some of them are open source, and most of them they are providing message-oriented services. Something like they will get information and they will send it to some other endpoint or something like that. Ka is it's a fully featured, clear. It can do much than the other IoT platforms, and it can be deployed locally, or it can be deployed in the cluster, or it can be deployed in your cloud. Clear? So you can deploy it anywhere. Okay? Right? See, if you are interested, you can survey this. See, there is a ThinkSpeak, Open Alerts. Okay? Node.js is there. Open Remote, another one. Nimbus. Okay? So I have surveyed around 20 to 30 these open source IoT platforms, out of which I found this, the car, it is somewhat right. You can deploy it in your machine and you can start working, you can rapidly develop your applications. Something you get quickly, is it clear? Okay, right? So these are the features. So already most of them are covered. Okay. So what I am interested in here is, see, it is horizontally scalable and fault tolerant. So in the next slide we will see the architecture of car. Okay. So there we will see. So if there is a demand, if you want to connect more clients, so obviously it has to support. It has to expand. Is it clear? So it has to support the scalability. So what it does is it simply add few more nodes, car instances, so that it forms a cluster and it works. So whenever there is a demand, it grows. So when there is no demand, it sinks. That's it. Previous concept, as the other speaker said. Is it clear? And another thing is, it is 100% open source. You may not pay any single coin for that. It comes under Apache License 2.0. That means you can develop. I'm emphasizing that you can develop business products. Is it clear? So you can develop a product and you can business it. You can implement a product, an IoT product through car, and you can business it. Nobody will person it. It comes under Apache 2.0, Apache License 2.0. Okay. So another interesting point is, see, you need not learn, say, if you want to work with this device, you need to learn a new language. That new language is called Arduino IDE, or some other language is there, that is processing. Processing, it is much like C, but not C. Is it clear? So you need to learn new syntax, semantics and everything. Okay, it is something like a digital wire processing language. Okay, so but if you want to work with car, so these are much familiar languages for us. C, CPP, Java. Even Object-C, they are almost similar to C and CPP. Okay? So it will produce SDKs. So we'll see that software development kits in the next slide. See, and it can be integrated with any hardware. Most of the most popular hardwares you can use. See, these can be deployed into most of the hardware platforms. Like, you can deploy it to any microcontroller. Microcontroller in the sense, like, say, it may be produced by a Raspberry Pi, or it may be an Arduino board, or it may be, say, a Texas Instrument, or it may be from Udo, or it may be from Particle. Is it clear? These are all the what do you call them? IoT kit providers or the IoT kit manufacturers. Okay. So what I mean to say here is, the endpoint SDKs that were generated by using car can be deployed into any hardware. Any hardware. Is it clear? So it is not specific to a particular hardware. Like, say, if you consider this is an Arduino board. So you can deploy car SDKs into this board, as well as you can deploy car SDKs into Raspberry Pi board. Okay, right? It is hardware agnostic. Okay, we'll see that. So as I told you, the platform is hardware agnostic. It is highly portable. SDKs are available in Java, C++, C, and Object-C languages. See, these are the hardware platform. Manufacturers. Intel Edition. Perhaps it's a costly board. It costs around 10,000 rupees. Is it clear? Which includes everything, like so it has a built-in communication chip, like ESP is built in there, Wi-Fi module is there. Is it clear? So and if you have that board, you can start doing IoT project. You can implement IoT products by using Ka. Any of these boards, and these four are exclusively they are used for mobile platform OSs. They are mobile OSs. I mean Snippy, Ubuntu, Android, iOS, and Windows Compact Edition. Okay, these four are OSs. The remaining things are hardware side. Okay, so and the data model it is very interesting here. See, so if you want to collect any real-time data, see, is there anybody who knows NoSQL databases? NoSQL databases, NoSQL. NoSQL. Any idea about NoSQL? MongoDB is there, very good. MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, OpenSQL. There are plenty of there. Why we go for NoSQL databases? See, if you go for SQL databases, then what happens is you need to depend on SQL. You need to construct the tables. After that, you need to store some data into the tables. Then, for retrieving the data, the required data, what do you have to do? You have to query. You have to write the queries. Is it clear? But in the IoT ecosystem, and most of the, the back-end databases, what they will do is, in the previous slide I have shown that, clear. What they will do, they will just collect the data and put it in a dashboard, that's it. Clear? So for that kind of application, there is no need of having a table. Is it clear? In the back end. So what it will do, so if you take the temperature sensor, so what it will do, I am getting a key and value pairs, that's it. Temperature and its value at a particular instance over a period of time, that's it. So if you put that into an SQL table or a relation database model, then what happens? Then you have to write a query and fetch it and then send it to the dashboard. So you are just complicating the things. So what they did was they have eliminated that. They are using NoSQL now. So this particular platform, it works with, I can say, it works with the structured data as well as the unstructured data, but it prefers structured data. It prefers structured data. See, as you can see here, so it consisting of a record name and the namespace and the name of the record, and it has two fields, two name fields. Perhaps this is it's a typing mistake. Something instead of name, something should be there. Okay, right? So it is produced by using, I think you might have heard that JSON, JavaScript object notation. So this data model is what we call JSON file. JavaScript object notation. JavaScript object notation. So what I'm interested here is I'm going to collect data in a pre-configured data model. Is it clear? So that can be directly pushed into the data engine and get the done the data analytics, and it will show you the result immediately. So it will take, in a quick time you can do that. Okay, right? So we'll come to that. See, Apache Avro is the, so in the process of learning Ka, we have learned so many new technologies. Most of them are open source. Clear, Apache Avro and Apache Maven, clear, Docker and Couchbase, Cassandra, MongoDB. These are all new technologies. Clear. So if you start working on this, you will get. See, we are all faculty members. In the some of the other day, we will guide our students for their academic projects. So with this platform, believe it or not, we can, create a product within 2 days. That's it. An IoT application, you can develop an IoT application within 2 days. Okay, I will show you how to do that. So it is Apache Avro compatible. Clear? I mean, the data scheme that I am going to use in my clients, in my end systems as well in my car server is nothing but a pre-configured data scheme that is nothing but which is compatible with the Avro, Apache Avro. Okay. See, the next 2 slides are very important. Okay. So the the car IoT platform, it contains 2 main things. Okay. One is car server or the car node. We'll call it as a car node. And the other one is car endpoint SDK. Car endpoint SDK. Okay. So on the server side you have car server, and the client side you have car endpoint SDK. So the beauty here is the car endpoint SDKs are generated by the car server. They are pre-configured with the data schema that is, the server is using, and at the same time it will bind its address in the client. Is it clear? So it will generate the car SDKs. If you import that car SDKs into any hardware device or any microcontroller, then this car SDK can communicate with the car server. It's pretty simple thing. Is it clear? So you need not worry about the protocols, communication protocols and the deployment protocols. So everything is abstracted. Okay? So it will generate an endpoint SDK. SDK is nothing but a library. Is it clear? A set of libraries to establish that the very previous slide: connect, communicate, and tell. So it will provide a software to do all these things. Is it clear? So it will get connect with the car server and it will communicate with it. At the same time, it will sense the sensory data will be sent to the server. Is it clear? So that is the main heart of this car platform. Okay, right? So as you can see here, auto-generated code and data bindings. So the client device, it is already it is generated by the car server. That means car's address, address is nothing but the port number and the IP address of the server. It is already binded in the car SDK. Is it clear? You got my point? So it is already it knows the address so that it can communicate with the server. Okay, it is already there. See, it abstracts out protocol, data consistency, and other complexities. You need not worry about the which transport protocol you are using, whether it is TCP or UDP or some other thing, HTTP or something like that. Okay, and easily portable to virtually any hardware and OS. We already discussed that. Okay. So as I told you, on the one side you have car endpoint SDKs, and the other side you have car server, and this is the high level architecture of the car server. Okay, as I told you, this one, the middle portion is the car node, or you can have a cluster of car nodes. So when there is a demand, you can increase the car server instances. Is it clear? So that is why it is scalable. If one car node fails, then so this particular thing, Zookeeper, Apache Zookeeper, as I told you, in the process you will learn more tools and more technologies, more open source technologies. Apache Zookeeper is one such technology. Is it clear? So what it does is it will simply coordinate and distribute the operations of the car instances. So when something is there, when some node is fails, then automatically the Zookeeper will take care of. It is something like a risk manager. So when there is a risk with one node, it will automatically adjust the work to the other node, something like that. Is it clear? So the car node consisting of 3 services. One is control service, operations, and bootstrap. So we'll discuss that in the next slide. See, as you can see, as I told you, it works with structured data as well as unstructured data, SQL databases as well as NoSQL databases. SQL databases are tables are mainly used here for device owner mapping.
Okay, we will see that later. So easily customizable and expandable. So you can increase this cluster as and when there is a requirement. You can increase this. You can increase the nodes, cluster nodes, and most important thing is this one. You can deploy anywhere. You can deploy it in the railway stations, or you can deploy here itself. Say suppose you have, see here we have 1300 students. Say suppose you want to send a circular to them. Is it clear? So all these nodes, I mean all the 1300 students, probably they are having smartphones or mobile phones or something like that. So if they are connected to my car server, I can write a notification to them, I can send a circular. So that easy, no money is involved here. Is it clear? You need not pay for that. Okay, we are going to implement that in the near future. I am trying for that. Okay, such kind of thing. We are trying to automate our circular systems. Internal administration circulars or something like that. Okay, right? So on premises, in cloud or hybrid. So suppose you have, say you have less configuration. So you can move some of the nodes to the cloud. Clear? In that way also it is scalable. So as I told you, there are three servers, three services in the car node. One is bootstrap service. It is mainly used for responsible for directing endpoints to operation servers, and it is mainly responsible for registering endpoints with the car node. Registering endpoints with the car node, and the operation server is the main. It will do all the operations like collecting data and submitting it to the backend databases or something like that. See, and control service which will control the operations of these, the remaining things. Okay, Apache Zookeeper, as I told you, Apache Zookeeper enables highly reliable distributed coordination between the car cluster nodes. Okay. So let me come into this. This one, the top one. As I told you, in the back end you can have any one of these. So Ka is pretty much integrated with NoSQL databases and SQL databases. Is it clear? So you can use any one of these open source data backend platforms. Is it clear? Couchbase, Oracle NoSQL database, Cassandra, Spark. Spark is it is mainly used for live data analysis. Is it clear? Right? Easily expandable with data virtualization tools, scalable to handle vast amounts of data. So is it okay for you? Shall I go to live demo? Okay. Let me quickly go through this. Okay. So what you can do with Ka? So these are some of the main functions that you can do with Ka. Okay. So let me briefly summarize what I have put here. The owner and the thing is a big challenge. Clear? Is it clear? So నేను ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మాట్లాడుతున్నాను, నన్ను ఇది మ్యాప్ చేయాలి. ఈ పర్టికులర్ డివైస్ నన్ను మ్యాప్ చేయాలి. అంతే కదా, స్పీకర్ని రికగ్నైజ్ చేయాలి. రికగ్నైజ్ చేసి బయట వాళ్ళకి చెప్పగలగాలి. Is it clear? Okay, that mapping itself is a big challenge in IoT. Is it clear? Right? So let me go to the specific cases. See, you can group the devices into clusters so that you can effectively manage them. Clear? By using profile filters at the car node, you can group them. After grouping, you can send a particular firmware version so that you can update only the group A endpoints. Okay? Something like that. So distributing data to endpoints. So after grouping, you can configure this group with one configuration and this group with another configuration. Clear? Divide and conquer, something like that. And using notifications, see the same thing. After grouping, you can send notifications, a particular notification to say MTech people and particular notification to say circular to BTech people. So you can do like that. See, so everything, see, the communication is routed through the Ka cluster or the Ka server. Clear? From the admin UI, or you can use the REST UI, REST API to send your notifications. Is it clear? And collecting data from endpoints, see, the endpoints will produce data, and this data is structured data here. I mean, in the endpoints itself, it will be structured by using the Taurus data schemes. Clear? And here you will getting the structured data, and that can be directly submitted to, I mean, that can be directly injected to data analytics systems. Okay? And you can send messages across endpoints. Say one endpoint can send messages to another endpoint to trigger an event. Something I will show you one example. So in that example, we will see I am going to deploy Ka SDKs into 2 Android mobiles since we don't have that particle kit. Is it clear? So I am going to deploy 2 SDKs into Android mobiles. Perhaps SDK here it is called APK. For Android it is called APK. These 2 endpoints are connected to the Ka server. Okay? So the moment they connected to the Ka server, what happens is, the pictures or the albums in the one endpoint are visible to the other endpoint. Is it clear? Okay? So the other endpoint can trigger a slideshow in the connected endpoint, the other endpoint. Is it clear? I will show you that. Okay? Let's move to this. Ka installation and deployment. So you can install this Ka. You can directly go to this. Okay, right. So let me stop here and I will show you the real stuff. Okay. So if you want to download Ka, you can directly you can get it from the Ka official website. That is kaproject.org. This is the official website of Ka. So if you want to download, see here. So by getting this download Ka, it is around so there are different ways in which you can download Ka. One is you have sandbox image, and you can deploy your Ka in Amazon Web Service. And you can have Debian packages so that they can be directly installed in your Ubuntu machines. Okay? See, these are, 4 different ways in which you can install Ka. So we have already installed in our servers downstairs. Okay? So if anybody is interested, then you can visit our lab. I will show you the actual deployment and all. Okay? So I have already downloaded. It is 1.7 GB. The latest version is 0.8.1. Okay. Right? So I will show you. See, you can install this in your Ubuntu machines, or you can install it in a virtual machine like Oracle VirtualBox. So I am going to use the sandbox. See, you can see the sandbox image. You can directly download it, and you can deploy it in the Oracle virtual machine. So I will show you that. See, I have a Oracle virtual machine. See, the desktop. So just open your virtual machine, VirtualBox. Go to File and Import Appliance. So click on Import Appliance, and you need to browse. The file location. The sandbox that we have downloaded, sandbox image. Mine is somewhere here. See this one. So after downloading, you will get something like this, a file with .ov extension. So just open it. So click on next. So here we need to configure your virtual machine. Okay. So you can change the name and guest OS. See, guest OS is Ubuntu only. And if you want to increase the CPU's number of cores, you can increase it. Okay. So the minimum requirement to run Ka is you should have at least 4 GB of RAM and 64-bit operating system. That is the minimum requirement. Okay. Should have 64-bit operating system in your system. I mean in your host system, and you should have at least 4 GB of RAM. So that is the minimum requirement. Okay. Right. So after that, just click import. So it will start installing. Okay. So this is how we install it. Okay. So I will stop here. Then we'll go to the. I'm going to connect. I'm going to access my server from right from here. Okay. So it is in the upstairs. Okay. Let me do that. After installing, you will get an IP address and the port number of the server. Okay. So that you can connect to the server if you know the IP address and the port number, and you can connect to the server from anywhere. Okay. So that's what I'm doing here. See, just open a web browser. See, my server is running on port number 192.c. As you can see, 192.168.118:9080. This is my port number. And the sandbox. So we'll see what is sandbox later. So just click. So one server is running on this particular IP. Another server is also running there. That is on 16.134. Okay. So this is what we call sandbox. Sandbox is the place. See, after installing Ka instance in your local system, you will get something like this. So this is an IDE which is pre-configured with many demo projects. Clear? These are all demo projects, as you can see here. Cell monitor demos, configuration demos, data collection demos, event demos, GPIO, general purpose input-output control demos. Perhaps you can do projects like, say, as I told you that you can control your home appliances right from your through your mobile. So you can do such applications by using GPIO control, and notification demos, messaging, and pretty much everything like Storm data analytics, live streaming. If you want to analyze live streaming data, you can generate Ka SDKs by using this demo. Is it clear? I will show you that. Cassandra data analytics demo. See, if you want to filter these based on the features, then just click on this. See, if you want to show, if you want to know only the demo projects related to configuration, so you can see them. Okay, or related to profiling or notification or something like that. See, event, data collection. Okay, right? And the platforms wise also Java. All the Java demos, they can be grouped into one cluster or something like that. And I will show you how to see. This is my Ka server. Okay, this is my Ka server. What it will do? So it will generate a Ka endpoint SDK for me. Clear? This Ka endpoint SDK, it can be deployed into anything, any hardware. Is it clear? So the moment you deploy this hardware into the thing, then that thing will communicate with this server. So that's the beauty here. That's the beauty of the platform. Okay? So how to do that? So let us see. So I'm not coding anymore here. I'm just showing the demo projects. Okay? So if you are interested, you can explore more. Say, let's see. Notification demo. So how to send notifications to your endpoint systems. See, that is somewhere here at the top. This one. Okay. So if you click on this, you will get something like the car notifications of system demo application bundle. So as I told you, you can generate SDKs in C, C++, Object-C, as well as Java. Okay. So you can see notification demo for Android devices, notification demo for Object-C platforms, notification demo with C++ SDK, and notification demo with Java SDK. So let me open this. Okay. So when you click on notification Java demo, so you get something like this. See, so it will specify SDK language is Java and the platforms used as Linux 86 or Windows 86. Is it clear? So it can be, I mean, it can run on laptops or desktops, which configured with this platform. Okay, right? So you can straight away click on this binary. Okay. So when you click on this binary, so it will generate the endpoint SDK. Is it clear? So that can be ported into a Java machine. Is it clear? So that Java machine will access a client to the parser. Okay, right? Or else if you are interested, if you want to modify the code, since it is open source, so you can click on source button, so that source code will be, I mean, you can right away you can download it to your system and you can open it, you can fix it, see, so that you can add some more functionality and you can upload it. Is it clear? So that's the beauty of open source. Okay. So if you are not satisfied with some system, you can change it. Clear? Nobody will question you. Okay. Somebody interested in it, then they will download your version and they will use that. Okay. That is how we have so many Linux versions. Okay. So when you click on SDK, you start building an endpoint SDK for me. Is it clear? Right? It will build something like a ready-made thing to process. That means it is generating an endpoint SDK. Okay. So see, click to start download binary file. Just click on OK. So that see here. It is downloaded here. Just click keep. Okay. Notification demo. See the name here. See notification demo 2.jars. I have already done this. So one more file is there. So car endpoint SDK is downloaded to my system. So this particular system will act as client now. Is it clear? My laptop will access a client now, and my server is in the upstairs. Is it clear? Car server is running there. I am going to access that. Clear? And now I am going to communicate with my car server through this through my car client. So since I have downloaded Java SDK, so I just run that. Open command prompt. Go to the location. See. So it is downloaded into my downloads. So remember that file name. File name is Java. See, it's a jar file. So you can directly executable jar file. So you can execute it Java -jar and the file name. So the file name is notification demo 1. No, it's 2. Okay, right? So this is a file that is built by car server, and say I am going to execute it. See, the moment you click, it is executing. See, I think there is a mistake. Exception in the thread main. Okay. So this is the actual procedure. Let me connect to the other server, so that there is some problem with this. So let me change my IP here. I am going to connect with the other server. So the other server is 192.168.16.134. Port number is 8080. It is pre-configured, okay? So while installing, you have to give this. It's 192. So there is a problem with my laptop. So I have a rescue file here. Somewhere help out. So Here I have two. Okay. Sandbox. Right. So now I have connected to other server. So let me download that notification demo file. So, right. Just click finish. So see notification demo 3 is all. Okay. So I'm going to compile it. Sorry. Just move to the directory. Downloads Java jar notification. I have 3 files now. So, okay, so it's running. Yes, it's working. Okay, so my car SDK is working now. Okay, now say my server wants to communicate with it wants to send notification to the car server. So how you can do that? It's very simple. Just open this, go to the administrative console. Okay, so if you have the privileges, then you can go to the administrative console and you can send notifications to the car client. Okay, you can send messages to the car client. Okay, so just a dev user, development user, and dev user 1, 2, 3. Okay, these are the credentials, pre-configured credentials. You can use them. So there is a problem with keyboard. Okay. See the credentials are dev user and dev user 1, 2, 3. So okay, right. So my client is running on an endpoint system. I want to send some notification to it. See, just click on the left side panel. Here you can see notification demo. Click on that. So click on notification topics. Is it clear? So if you want to send notifications to your client, click on notification topics. So you have two listed here. Select anyone, either optional topic or mandatory topic. Okay. And send notification. Here you want to type the message you want to send. Hello world or something like that. Okay, see I'm sending that. See, you can see. See this. Yes, sir. I hope you understood the deployment. So the car endpoint SDK, now it is installed on my laptop. That SDK can be ported to your mobile, or it can be ported to any real thing. Is it clear? So that it can be connected with the server, and server can manage it. You can send notifications and it can collect data from it and it can manage it. Is it clear? That's it. If you are interested, you can visit our laboratory. There you will see the entire setup. And I will show you some other demo projects.
Good afternoon to you all. Hope that you have enjoyed this practical demo session on car tool, which is a open source tool for IoT. It's my privilege to say a few good words regarding my colleague Mr. Sivaram, R.D. Sivaram. Actually, after joining this workshop, he was very particular and seriously working towards the delivery of his practical demo on this car tool. Really, we should appreciate on the Department of PhD, we would like to appreciate thank him very much actually for his contribution towards this workshop. Thank you, Sivaram. Thank you.
My hearty congratulations to my dear colleague R.D. Sivaram. It's good beginning for his latest research topics. I hope all youngsters you take this as inspiration, and we are looking forward such types of participation for all young teams. Already Mr. Venkat